Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Idea Week, the week of virtual public engagement for the Lexington County Grow With Us comprehensive planning process. I hope you share my enthusiasm today during the kickoff of public input. My name is Holland Leger. I am the Director of the Department of Planning and GIS for Lexington County. This department is tasked with the preparation and implementation of the comprehensive plan, a policy document intended to guide the growth and development of this county for generations to come. In order to do so, we have contracted with the Clarion and Associates team, in my opinion, the best private planning firm in the country, skilled in the preparation of long-range plans. Representing the firm today and here with us online is project manager, Ms. Leanne King. Leanne is a well-respected land use planner and professional colleague of mine who I have worked with on any number of projects over the last 10 years. Leanne has with her a robust team of professional experts in all the various disciplines of planning, including transportation, land use, finance, economics, housing, zoning, land use law, and other fields such as geographic information systems, marketing, and public engagement. This group is here with us to help move through this process. We have an hour-long program of engagement to be followed by some online exercises by you, the community, to be undertaken to help us plan for the growth of this county in the next 10 to 20 years. That said, I will turn the floor over to Leanne, who will guide you through the process. Welcome and thank you, and the floor is yours, Leanne.
Great. Thank you so much, Holland. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining tonight. We've got several folks here on our project team. You can see their faces on the screen, and you might see this background on a number of us, the Grow With Us Lake Murray planning background. So we're going to be helping you throughout this meeting tonight. We're going to have some small breakout sessions. You might see some of us joining those meetings. So again, thank you for joining us. We've got several things we're going to be doing tonight. Here in just a moment, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what a comprehensive plan is and giving you some of the quick facts and trends about Lexington County that we think are important for you to understand as we look to make a long-range plan for the county. Then we'll move to small group discussions to allow you some time to hear from fellow residents about different ideas about what the future of Lexington County should be. Then we have an online poll. You'll be using your smartphone or other device to participate to help us understand some of the critical issues and values that you have that can help us understand how we should be directing this plan. And then finally, and most importantly, is our call to action. It's really wonderful that you joined us tonight, and we encourage you to invite others to join us at one of the remaining three meetings that we have this week. But more importantly, we want to make sure that you go to the project website and complete the online questionnaires. And one of our team members, Sarah Bongiorno, will walk us through that at the end of the night. So just because you're participating tonight, there's a second step we're going to ask you to do in getting and completing that online questionnaire. Oh, excuse me. Click the wrong button there. All right. So a little bit about comprehensive planning. So what is a comprehensive plan? A comprehensive plan really serves four purposes for a local government. It serves as a blueprint to the county's future that's laid out in the form of goals and action strategies. It's a compass that guides direction setting for local decision making, so your county council and other leaders can use this to guide those decisions. It's a playbook for capital projects to be incorporating into future capital improvement plans. So if you think about community investments such as roads and libraries and other public facilities such as fire stations and police and sheriff protection, those are all things that are invested in by the community, and the comprehensive plan can set the stage for those investments. And finally, comprehensive plans more and more are being used as a marketing tool that articulates the community's vision and how the private sector can fit within that vision. So a lot of businesses that are looking to locate within a new community, or people that are looking to move into an area, will pick up a comprehensive plan to understand what is the trajectory of this community. What do they want to be in 20 years? What is this going to look like? And what are they going to offer to our business or to our household? And that comprehensive plan can help articulate that story for those folks. Specific to Lexington County, we understand that we need to achieve several things in this planning process. And the first is to identify the core community values as a foundation for the county's first modern comprehensive plan. The county does have a comprehensive plan today, but that was developed several decades ago, and conditions were very different at that point in time. So it's a good time to be creating a new plan for the county. And really, this Idea Week is the kickoff to this planning process. So thank you again for joining in and sharing your voice. The second thing is we need to plan for and respond to the pressure for growth that's being felt across the county in a variety of different ways, transportation probably being the one that most people are talking about. We want to pursue an inclusive process that's mindful of the concerns of residents like yourself, county staff, and community partners. And we want to satisfy state requirements. The state of South Carolina requires that local governments prepare comprehensive plans, and so we'll be meeting those criteria as part of this process as well. We have a 16-month project phase or five-phase planning process that takes 16 months, and we kicked off in July of 2020. As you can see here, we are in round one of public engagement. There are 2 more rounds of engagement available to you in the future. So we'll be coming back in the summer of 2021 to talk about different growth alternatives for the county. And what we mean by that is looking at how the county might grow and change over the next 20 years and getting your reactions to those ideas. And then in round 3 in December of 2021, we will be looking at unveiling the comprehensive plan. And so that'll be an opportunity for residents to see that draft plan before it goes through the plan adoption phase. We think about comprehensive planning as a cycle, just like any other business or organization does strategic planning. First off, as part of the comprehensive plan process, we really set the high-level policy priorities for the community. So what is the county going to be in the next 20 years, and what's our plan to get there? Then it sets the specific work priorities for departments in helping to underscore the different aspects of departmental services and facilities and work plans that need to be undertaken. It sets funding priorities through the annual budgeting process and the capital improvement planning process, and then implements those priorities through operational initiatives and capital projects. But we're not done then with planning. We still need to assess our progress and look at how we're doing over time to meet our goals and objectives. And then in the future, probably in the next 10 years or so, the county will be a different place and have different conditions and challenges ahead of it. And so it will be time to set that policy direction again. So it's always a cycle looking forward to the future, but not forgetting where we came from. For Lexington County, the plan is going to look at the entirety of the county, including the 15 municipalities within Lexington County. That being said, the county government actually has planning and zoning authority over the unincorporated portions of the county, essentially all the land that's not within a municipality. So while we're looking broadly across jurisdictional lines, we will be setting policy and actions specific to lands that the county itself has jurisdictional authority over. We're also breaking this process down, particularly for these virtual meetings, by 7 planning areas that you see on the map here, and we're focusing tonight on planning area 2 here, which includes West Columbia, Springdale, Casey, South Congaree, and Pine Ridge, as well as the unincorporated lands around that. And we'll have some of that information broken down tonight. Some of the key trends and facts are also going to be looking at those different planning areas. So let's go ahead and jump into that. So again, this is a 20-year long-range planning effort, and so we want to think about where we've been and also where we're headed. And one of the things we learned early on in this process is that Lexington County, probably no new news to you, is one of the fastest growing counties in the state. It added approximately 80,000 residents between 2000 and 2018. And the Central Midlands Council of Governments projects that the county is going to add an additional 150,000 residents over the next 20 years. So a lot more growth is likely on the horizon. That's one of the big questions we want to grapple with in this process is where should that growth go? Where should those people live? What should be the pattern of development to support them? What do we need in terms of facilities and services to support all those new residents? We also learned that Lexington County is slightly more diverse, both racially and ethnically, than it was a decade ago, and it has a higher median income and educational attainment than South Carolina overall. We know that Lexington County's municipalities are growing. There's 3 times as much municipal land as there was in the initial municipal charters. But that growth is not even across all municipalities, and we'll show you some information to that end in just a moment. 3/4 of the land in the county is either occupied by rural uses or unimproved residential land. So there's a lot of opportunity for new growth. And so if it's important to be directing growth in this community, that's one of the places that we'll need to be paying close attention. From an economic development standpoint, we know that healthcare is going to be, is projected to be a big industry in terms of future job growth within the Midlands region. And we know that the 5 fastest growing careers within that region are in personal health care. When we look at transportation, we know that it's a major factor for employment centers. Most jobs are clustered within the municipalities near Congaree River, the airport, and along interstates and major roads. So we'll share an employment density map here in a moment, and you'll see that the majority of jobs and businesses are in kind of the eastern and central portions of the county where those transportation lines are available. We also learned that about half of county maintained roads are unpaved, and those are primarily concentrated in the southwestern and southeastern areas of the county, and that more than 220 miles have been petitioned for paving. Existing funding sources to pave those roads is not really going to meet demand over time. And so that's something that we need to look at in this process. We learned that there are more people commuting by car and they have slightly longer commutes to work between 2010 and 2018. We also know that there's higher demand for walking, biking, and transit infrastructure, particularly in the eastern parts of Lexington County near Columbia. When we look at population trends, so these are historical population trends. This is a graph that shows 2000, 2010, and 2018 population broken down by the municipalities in blue, the unincorporated lands, so lands outside of the municipalities in orange, and the gray is the total of the orange and blue. And what this told us is that the majority of population, 3/4 of folks that live in Lexington County, actually live in the unincorporated portions of Lexington County. When we look at the kind of fast growing parts of the county, this table here shows all the municipalities and their growth rates between 2000 and 2018. We see that within Planning Area 2, Pine Ridge and West Columbia had pretty healthy growth rates here. Casey, South Congaree, and Springdale actually had lower growth rates, with Springdale actually having a bit of depopulation happening, so actually losing some population. So again, not all of that growth is being spread across the land evenly. Some areas are growing faster and more than others. This is the chart that shows you population history for the county and also those Central Midlands Council of Government projections. And again, showing that by 2040, there'll be potentially up to 470,000 new residents within Lexington County. And because we know the largest proportion of folks live in the unincorporated portions of the county, and that's where a lot of the available land is for development, we predict that much of these residents are likely going to also be located within the unincorporated portions of the county in the future. When you look at population density, probably not a surprise, people per acre, that density is higher on the eastern portions of the county and particularly within the municipalities. As you move westward to southern portions of the county and the more rural areas, that population density declines and people are a little more dispersed and spread out. When we look at the age of residents of Lexington County and compare them to South Carolina residents between 2010 and 2018, we learned that Lexington County residents are what we call family age. So we have a lot of folks that are within the kind of middle midlife years of their life and the younger years, childhood years. Not as many folks in the 20 to 24 category and the 65 to 84 category. So again, a lot of family age folks living in Lexington County. When we look at where people are coming from to move to Lexington County, we learned that about 64% of new residents are actually coming from somewhere else in South Carolina, with Richland County and Kershaw County being the two highest counties where people are coming from. The next highest states are North Carolina, Georgia, New York, and Florida. And this is that job density map I mentioned earlier. So you can see here the kind of darker areas show where the kind of larger conglomerations or clusters of employment and jobs are located. And again, a larger proportion of that within kind of the eastern and central portions of the county, in some degree up here in Chapin, and then in the western section over here as well. Important to this is transportation and commuting. All of you have probably experienced some of the congestion that has happened as a result of growth in the community over the last several years. When we look at the data, what it tells us is that worker inflow, which is basically tells us that 73,000 folks are traveling into Richland County from outside the county for work each day. And then folks that commute out of the county that live in Lexington County and commute outside to other locations, that's nearly 72,000 people. And in terms of folks that live and work in the county, they're about 54,000 people. So we have a lot of people commuting in and out of Lexington County each day and internal to the county. And that's going to be an important thing to look at in terms of how new growth is going to be accommodated and what it looks like for those growing commutes of folks. Existing land use is something we're also looking at in this process. This is data that comes from the Lexington County Tax Assessors database. What this tells us is our best understanding of the different types of land uses that exist today within the county. So this next slide here, these colors match the colors that are on the map. What this tells us is nearly 70% of land are, or excuse me, a little more than 70% of lands are in rural uses or unimproved residential land. So there's a lot of land that could potentially be changed and developed over time in the future. We also want to be considering a lot of these other uses and where they're best accommodated and should be located in the future as well. This is a zoom in of existing land use for Area 2, and it's probably one of the most diverse in terms of land uses. So we see a lot of the kind of those unimproved and single family residential lands in these lighter green and lighter yellow areas. But we also see the airport and some of the other industrial and utility properties in purple, and commercial in red, and maybe some of the higher density multi-unit development within the orange. When we look at housing stock in the county, what we learned is that there is a high proportion of single family detached and mobile home units within the county, more so than South Carolina overall. And one question that we had when we saw that is there demand for other types of housing units in the county, and where should those best be located? Mentioned earlier that the municipal annexations over time have more than tripled the land that was in the original municipal charters. You can see that growth here in terms of decades, and with 2000 being kind of the biggest growth year for the municipalities since their original charter. If you look for Area 2, you can see over time, with the dark kind of purple being earlier years, coming up to the lighter kind of orange and yellow being more recent annexations, there's been a lot of growth and change within this area, particularly in kind of the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So you can see a lot of that change happening in Lexington, West Columbia, Springdale, and Casey. Lesser so for South Congaree and Pine Ridge. We're also looking at zoning and development regulations as part of this process. The county has zoning regulations that are based on both zoning districts and street classifications. So you'll see kind of the land colors on the map, but also the roads have different distinctive colors that articulate what can and determine what can actually be developed on a property and the standards that apply to those properties. These are the zoning regulations that are applied for Area 2. And as you can see here, there's a lot of land in the restrictive development category, but we do see some other areas that have intensive development and some of the other zoning classifications, as well as a variety of the street classifications that get applied to these. We'll be looking at this when we do the growth alternatives so that we can have a better understanding of what could be developed within these areas in the future. So that wraps up our key trends and facts portion of the presentation, and I'm going to hand the baton over to our partner Sarah Bongiorno with Planning Next, who's going to lead us into our breakout room discussions.
Great, thanks, Leanne. Good evening, everybody. So this is, we're going to switch gears a little bit at this point in the program, and we are going to put you into kind of a chat room, 2 small breakout rooms where we can have a little bit easier time to discuss around a question prompt. And I wanted you to, you'll be automatically assigned into the breakout rooms in just a minute. And before we move into the breakout rooms, though, a couple things to remember, just some etiquette reminders that, you know, the county is very diverse and different opinions are expected and they should be respected. And the diversity of the members in the small group should enrich the conversations and ideas. And while it's okay to challenge ideas, personal attacks are not acceptable, and listening to others without interruption is an important opportunity. And just help ensure that everybody who wants to share in your small group has a chance to share their ideas. So Leanne, if you could move to the question prompt. Yep, thank you. And then we're also going to put this question in the chat box there, so you have reference to it. But what we'd love for you to discuss with your fellow neighbors is this question. So imagine this planning area. So we're in planning area 2 tonight of Lexington County in 20 years. Picture the people, events, and places here. What do you hope for the future of this area? Or if you have ideas about the county as a whole, that's fine as well. And we want you to share your ideas with your small group. Now, Leanne introduced the planning team. We've got the logo and the nice Lake Murray photo behind us. We will be popping into the breakout rooms just to make sure you're doing okay, answer any questions, but to kind of help facilitate. But we don't want to interrupt you. This is really your time to connect with fellow neighbors and folks to start sharing ideas and talking about this prompt. So give us just a minute. We are going to switch gears here, and we're going to go ahead and put you into the breakout rooms. Please pay attention to the screen because there will be a little box that'll pop up that'll ask you to join in, and you'll get redirected into the breakout room. We'll discuss for about 12 or 15 minutes, and then we'll bring everybody back together, back to the main meeting to continue the program. All right, as everybody joins back into the main session here, I hope you had a good discussion in your small group. And if you would like to use the chat function to share your thoughts, anything that was discussed in your small group, you can go ahead and feel free to do that at any point in the rest of the meeting. We are going to switch gears here and do some, Leanne mentioned earlier, some smartphone polling. So if you've got your device, smartphone or iPad nearby, go ahead and get that ready. I'm going to switch gears here and get our polling screen up. Okay. All right. Can everybody see that screen? And when you've got your phone there in front of you, go ahead and open a web browser or however you get onto the internet, and you want to navigate to the website www.menti.com. That's spelled MENTI.com. It's up at the top of the screen here. And once you get there, it should prompt you for a code, and the code is right here, 6828154. And I'll give y'all just a second to get there. And we have some just lighthearted kind of warm-up questions just to get used to the platform here. And then we're going to get into some more specific questions about the county and this planning area. So the first question, if someone's already found it, that's great. What is your favorite outdoor activity to do in Lexington County? And if you've got, you'll see there's an other category there, other option. If you would like to use the chat function on the Zoom meeting to share what your other activity is, feel free to do that. We've got people chiming in here, lots of boaters in the group.
Yeah, please tell us what the other is. Oh, golf. Yeah, we got some golfers on one of the earlier meetings too.
I'm gonna, yep, that's good. I'm gonna let this go, give people a chance to, I think we've got maybe 13 or 14 folks participating, so I wanna give people a chance.
Outdoor music, that's a great one too to add. Local outdoor events.
All right, I think we've, oh, there we go, 14. Okay, fantastic. So you guys have all starting to figure out the platform here. Now, when I hit advance the slide, you should see on your phone the next question pop up. So the next question is, were you born in Lexington County? So I'm trying to get a sense of who's been here.
Yeah, and this one is one where the hospital might have been elsewhere, but your family was living in Lexington County. That's kind of the
Yes.
intention here.
Yep, thank you, Leanne. So only one person born and raised. Okay, and then along the same lines, how long have you lived here in Lexington County? And if you don't live in the county, but you're just joining because you care, you work here, there's an option for that.
Rock, I think you might have won with 56 years, although we haven't seen you poll yet. You can do the 50+ years one if you happen to see that choice on your phone, or we can capture that through the chat.
Great. And this one, just trying to understand where folks are joining from. If you can put your zip code in, you can type the code right in there on your phone and it will do kind of like a word cloud thing. And got lots of different zip codes represented. Great. Perfect. Okay. All right. And this one, of course, all anonymous, but what is your age? See what kind of age spread we've got here with us this evening. All right. Got some middle age represented. That's great. It's always hard to get the younger folks out. And then question 6, why are you tuning into this meeting? And you can choose all that apply. We're just trying to get a sense of where people are at, what their perspective on tuning into this first round of engagement. I got lots of folks curious, which is great, and a lot of folks that have ideas and want to be helpful. And a few folks skeptical. It's always good to have a little healthy skepticism. Hopefully we'll answer your questions and bring you on board as we go through the meeting. Okay, so I wanted to just revisit the planning area map that Leanne showed earlier. Tonight, we're really focusing here on planning area 2. And so remember that as we move forward, these next couple questions, a couple of them are specific to this planning area when you're thinking about your answers. So why do you care about this planning area 2? And you can choose all that apply here.
And if you got another reason, please feel free to put that in the chat because we'd love to hear why you're joining or why you care. So Rock says all of the above. That's his other option.
Good. Lots of good reasons. Okay. And then do you go to different parts of the county or planning areas on a daily or weekly basis? Trying to get a sense of how folks are moving about the county. It's like so far lots of movement. Most people moving about. One more second. Let's see if anybody else joins in. Okay. This one, how many miles do you travel to get to work? So trying to get an understanding of some commuting patterns and how that affects county's roads. Great, thank you. And this one's a fun one. So what is your favorite place to take visitors to show off Lexington County? And this is a word cloud. So if you can tell us in one word or a short, two-word answer, that would be best. But where do you like to take folks from out of town to really show off the best of Lexington County? River and River Walk, that's good.
The battle between Lake Murray and the Riverwalk.
Yeah, as I say, we're getting
I think Cribs is a new one we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I was wondering what that
is. That a restaurant? Oh, and then we've got, and Rock put in the chat, Charwood Golf Course and Lake Murray. All
Great.
Kinds of fun places to visit.
Tree Rock. Great.
Cribs is a restaurant in downtown Lexington. Look forward to eating there one day.
Good. Okay, that's great. And then this question, what are the most important aspects of Lexington County that keep you living here? And you can choose up to 2. I know that it's a hard decision. Some of these are, maybe you feel like they're all important, but we're really trying to get to some high level priorities. So we're kind of forcing you to just choose the 2 top ones. And of course there is, if you don't live in the county, then there's an option as well. Looks like work and play are leading out location, tying up there. So looks like the convenience. Okay, thank you. And this is our last question. When you think about the future, select the top 2 topics you think need to be addressed for this planning area. And you can choose up to 2 on this one as well. So traffic's winning out here. Infrastructure close second. Okay, great. Thank you so much. This was, thanks for participating. We're going to take all the answers here. We're going to put them into a database and merge them with information from the other meetings as we start to gather this input to help direct the plan. So I'm going to switch gears here. And I'm going to pull up the project website. So hopefully if you're not familiar, you should get onto the growwithusLexco.com website. This is where we're going to have a lot of information about the process. And right now, what's most important is there is a share your ideas button here at the top. So once you get to the website, you can click on this button and it will take you to our online input questionnaire page. So you joining us tonight is a great first step. We really appreciate you participating in the small group discussion and in the Mentimeter polling, but that's just the beginning. We really need you to head over to the website. If you've got time, I recommend you do it as soon as we sign off the meeting tonight. You can go right over to the website and fill out these engagement activities and spread the word as well. If you've got friends or family who couldn't make it to one of the virtual meetings or couldn't make it tonight, please share with them that they can get online and continue to give us feedback. This is really important. This online questionnaire digs more deeper, a little bit deeper into some questions and allows you to give us some really specific input. And so we really encourage you, need you to go over to the website and continue to participate. There are 4 different questionnaires or 4 different parts to this. Part A has 3 questions and its ideas about the county as a whole. These questions focus on values, what you would like the county to focus on the next 5 to 10 years, and some challenges that you see that this plan that should address. And after each of these sections, you can hit submit. You can do these different questionnaires in any order. You can participate in one or all of the questionnaires. Part B is about the 7 planning areas specifically. This is a map over here to remind you kind of which planning areas are which. You can select a planning area here, and then you can click here which topics are most important to you. There is an open-ended comment box here. So if there's something else you want to say about this particular planning area or some topics that weren't on the list that you think are important, please add them here in the open-ended comment box. And then you can choose a different planning area and continue. So you can give us input on all the planning areas if you would like in this section. And then of course you hit submit to get your answers submitted. This part C is pretty neat. There's some instructions here. I'm going to go kind of quickly through this, but this map is an interactive map. You can zoom in and you can place a oops, that's not good one. There we go. Place a dot, and you can tell us something about this particular location. So maybe this stretch of road, has some traffic or congestion issues, or maybe you don't think it's safe for pedestrians in a certain area. So you can mark this spot. Your comment's a comment of issue or an opportunity. You can give it a name, and you can tell us most important why you mark this spot. So what is it about this location that you want to share your ideas about? And you can hit submit this place, and then this will reset, and you can do as many different dots and give us specific comments about that on this interactive map. So I encourage you to get really specific and give us some map-based comments there. Part D is some demographic questions. This really is important. There's just some questions, anonymous questions about yourself, but this is really important because we want to understand how our participation in this first round engagement matches the overall demographics of Lexington County. So by you giving us some of this base demographic information, again, it's all anonymous, we can then see how our participation lines up with the overall county. So there's a few questions here about yourself. And then number 7 here, additional comments. This is just an open-ended comment box where you can, if there's something you just weren't able to get out in any other fashion, and something on your chest, something you want to share, please put it in this additional comments box. This is a chance to share with us anything that you need to. And then of course you can hit submit. So we really encourage you to head over to the website as soon as you can and participate. This will be open for a couple weeks, but don't wait, don't forget. We want you to head over there and participate. And please share this the website growwithusLexco.com with your friends and family so that they can participate as well. And now I'm going to hand it over to Leanne, and she's going to close us out for the evening.
And I apologize, the lighting in my room just changed for some reason. I got really dark. I'm not sure what happened there, but So thank you all again for joining. We really appreciate all of your thoughtful comments and participating in all the activities tonight. As Sarah mentioned, this is really the first opportunity as part of the Idea Week. And we really hope that you go to the website because there's more in-depth information that you can provide to us there. So that's really critical that you go to this website, growwithusLexco.com, and complete that questionnaire. You don't have to do all of it if you don't want to do all the pieces, but you can do as much of it as you're comfortable with. And if you could invite, you know, a handful of friends, neighbors, colleagues that care about the future of Lexington County to also go to the website. You can make it a challenge to see, you know, which zip code could win or something like that, or which area, planning area gets the most comments made. That would be excellent. We really need to make sure that we hear from as many people as possible so that we have a good foundation of information to be developing the plan from. So again, growwithusLexco.com. Please go there. This wraps up the formal portion of this meeting. We are going to stay on for about another 15 minutes. So we'll be on here, the Zoom call through 7:15. If you want to go to the website and fill out the questionnaire and you have any questions, you're welcome to log back in and we can answer those for you. Or if you just want to stay on afterwards and share some additional ideas or comments that you have, you're welcome to do that too. But if you're interested in going ahead and signing off for the night, feel free to do that at this point. But please, please, please go to that website and complete the questionnaire. Thanks much.